Welcome to Nabeel Math Academy. This is Dr. Mohammed Nabeel. Today we are going to see the graph of sine and cosine function. So the sine and cosine function, if you have a y equals a sine bx, so we have to know the amplitude and the period. For sine or cosine, both the formulas are going to be the same. So a cosine bx. So I can write it this one as amplitude which is equal absolute A, and period is given by period is 2 pi over absolute B. So this is a formula for amplitude and period. So in this video we are discussing both sine and cosine function, and we will differentiate what is the difference between the sine and cosine function. And so let us go start with the first problem. The first one is graph y equal 4 sine 2x. So first you have to locate A and B. So this is my A and this is my B, the coefficient of x. So A, this is B. So I got it the A and B. So I just write it here. A equal 4, B equal 2. So amplitude, what is the amplitude? Amplitude is equal absolute A, which is equal 4, and period is given by 2 pi over absolute B. So I substitute 2 pi over absolute B, therefore for 2 to get cancelled, so answer will be pi. So I got it the period and the amplitude. Now we will have to start the graph of the function. So first of all, I have to make a schedule here. So usually we are doing the schedule first and then we will draw the graph. But here, so without doing the schedule, we can draw. So we will have a technique here. So suppose if you have this one y-axis and this is my x-axis. Okay. Okay, done. So I write it here. This is y, this is x, and this is x, and this is y. So I will start directly the first amplitude. So I start with the amplitude. The amplitude, this is 0. Amplitude is going to be a minus 4 to plus 4. The sine function is between minus 4 to plus 4. And the full period is given by pi. So full period is given by pi. And we will follow the same technique for all the problem, just we will do it the same thing. So first, after writing the full period, just you have to divide by 2, you will have pi over 2. I divide by 2 again, you will get pi over 4. For all the problem, I will go with the same rule. The first full period, divide by 2, again divide by 2. So after that, the last term here multiply by 3. The first term multiply by 3. So you will have 3 pi over 4. So 3 pi over 4. So these 3 I am going to be a fixed. It is same for all the problem. Multiply the first one with the 3. So you will get a series of the x values. So what is this? 0, pi over 4, then pi over 2, then 3 pi over 4, and then pi. Now I start with the graph with the function, so 0. If I substitute 0 here, sine 0, the whole thing will be 0. Therefore it start with 0. So I will draw the graph here. The sine function is always start with the 0. The next one, it will goes up. The next one, it is going 0. And then it goes to the negative 4. And then it goes to 0 again. So it is like a sequence order. So if you draw the graph is looking like this. So this is my graph. Now from the graph, I can just point out the values. So what are the values you have? This is 0. I write it. The next one, for pi over 2, the value is 4. Y value is 4. For pi over 2, the value is 0. And for 3 pi over 4, the value is minus 4. I write it minus 4. Then it is 0. So for all the problem, we will do it the same rule. Same rule. So this is the 0. Now let us go with the same thing. I will do it with the cosine. So what is the difference between the cosine? Up to this is same. So I have to write it here. The amplitude, period, everything will be same. Only the function, the graph will be different. So you will have amplitude. Amplitude is absolute A equal 4. Period, which is 2 pi over absolute B, which is 2 pi over 2, so which is equal by. So we will have the same amplitude and period, but the graph is going to be different. So what are the graph here you have? So this is my graph schedule here. We'll have, and this is my x and y value. Let us draw the graph of this one. This is x and y. This is x and this is y. Okay, now start with this one. This is 0 and the full period, the full amplitude is minus 4 to plus 4 and the full period is pi. So what are the technique we will follow? The same rule. Divide by 2, you will get pi over 2. Again divide by 2, you will get pi over 4 and multiply by 3. Multiply by 3 by the first term. So you will have 3 pi over 4. Now in that case, we will have all the series of x 0, pi over 4, pi over 2, 3 pi over 4 and then pi. Now, when you see this one, the starting point when x equals 0, I substitute cosine 0 is 1, so you will have 4. So the cosine is start with 0. This is the only difference between the sine and cosine function. So sine is start with the 0, whereas cosine is start with the amplitude. If it is positive, it is start with the plus 4. If it is negative, the cosine graph is start with the negative. So what is the next sequence? It will be reached to 0. What is the next sequence? It will be reached to minus 4. After that, it will go again up. After that, it will goes to plus 4. So if you join the line, so you will find it like this. So this is my graph of cosine. This is a graph of cosine function. So the difference is here only the starting point. So cosine is always start with the amplitude and sine is always start with the 0. This is the only difference. So we will solve more problem here. So what is the difference between this one and this one? In the last problem we will have plus. So here we will have minus. Let us go solve the same problem. We will have AB first you have to calculate. Here A is equal minus half. B is equal 2 pi over 3 without x. Now what is the amplitude? Amplitude is given by, amplitude is equal absolute A, which is minus half absolute, which is plus half. Then period 2 pi over absolute B. When I substitute 2 pi over 3, what is cancel here? So you have 2 pi cancel, the 3 will goes to up. So therefore the x value is equal, this is period is equal 3. So this is the same thing, I will do it here. So I can write it the values of this one. What is this value here? So this is start with the amplitude, therefore 0, 4, 0, minus 4, 0 and 4. You can write it like this. Now similarly, I can write it here, the graph of sine function. So what is the graph here? So I write it the same rule here, plus half and minus half, and then it is plus 3, and this is 0. This is y-axis, this is x-axis. What are the graph here? What are the graph here? I just divide by 2. What happened? If I divide by 2, you will get 3 over 2. Again divide by 2, you will get 3 over 4. Now multiply by 3, you will find it this one as 9 over 4. This is the same technique we will follow for all the problems. Now I go with the first one. It is minus. Therefore, this is the sine function. The sine is start with the 0. Is it goes up or down? So since it is minus, therefore it is starting with the down. But in the last problem, if you find this one, it is plus 4. Why? The function is 4 sine 2x. That's why the curve start up. After that, it goes down. But here minus half. Therefore, after 0, it will go down first. But then after that, it will be goes to 0. Then it will reach to plus half. And then it is 0. So this is a graph. You can schedule the values if you want. So this is my graph of the sine function. Now let us go with the next one, which is cosine function. What is the difference in the cosine function? This is going to be a same. This story is going to be a same thing. The amplitude and period, everything will be same. Now we will have only to draw the graph. What is the graph here? A and B. So I write it one more time. So period, the amplitude is half, period is 2 pi over absolute b, which is equal 3. So this is the period. Now I draw the graph. So what should be the graph here? So this is the graph here, x and y. This is x and y, and then so this one is plus half and this one minus half, and this is 0. And what is the full period, which is 3? Now the same rule, divided by 2, divided by 2 again, and lastly we have to multiply by 3. So you will have 9 over 4. Since it is a cosine function, it is start with the amplitude. It will be start with the negative half, minus half. So it will be start with the minus half, then it will be 0, then it is here, then again 0, again it will be here. So if you draw the line, so you will find it, the graph looks like the inverted of the above because of minus. Since it is plus, therefore it is start with the positive 4, whereas here negative half, so I have to start with the minus half. Now let us go with the absolute value. So what is the absolute value we will have? So it is the same rule we have to do. So first I have to calculate AB. So what is AB? A is equal half, B is equal 2 pi over 3. So amplitude is equal half, amplitude is half, and the period is given by 2 pi over absolute B. So if I substitute the value 2 pi over 2 pi over 3, 2 pi cancel, therefore the answer will be 3. Now I draw the graph of the function. So you have here, this is the graph, x-axis, and this is the y-axis. Now if you write it this one, y 0 x, okay, then what is the amplitude? It is plus half to minus half. And after that, what is the full period? The full period is 3. The same rule. I have to divide by 2. This is 3 over 2. Again divide by 2. You will get 3 over 4. Multiply by 3. So 9 over 4. So we will get this one. Now I start with the function. Since it is a sine, it start with 0. So it is 0. So is it moves up or down? Since it is positive, it is going up. The next one, it goes to 0. After that, without absolute, it will goes to minus, but due to the absolute value, it goes again up plus half. Again, it is 0. So the graph is like this. This is the graph of the absolute sine function. So it starts with the 0 and it is going all curves up. Why? Because it is positive absolute value. So let us go with this one, the cosine function. How the cosine function look like. So this is the same rule, half b equals 2 pi over 3 and amplitude. What is the amplitude? Amplitude absolute A, which is half period 2 pi over 3. This is over b. So which is equal 3. This is the same thing, you will find it. Now there is a change only in the graph. So what are the graph changes? So it is x-axis and this is my y-axis, and you will have y x-axis 0, amplitude is plus half, and here minus half, and this is a full period 3. Now divide by 2, you will have 3 over 2. When divide by 4, again 2, you will divide by 4. Now multiply by 3, 9 over 4. So this is the concept you can apply for all the function graph. Now only the difference is what? The starting point. Since it is a cosine function, it start with the amplitude. Is it positive plus half or minus half? Since it is positive, I start with the positive plus half. Then it goes to 0. If it is without absolute, it goes down. But due to this absolute, it is all the curves will be up. So again it will be half, again 0, again it will be this one. So the graph is starting with the amplitude and all the curves will be up due to the absolute. Due to the absolute. So this is the cosine absolute function. Now here we will have here minus. What is the difference? So we will have the minus outside the absolute value. And since if it is given like this, it is going to be a same. Suppose if the same function is given as minus half sine 2 pi x over 3. It means that it is same because the minus is inside the absolute, it going to be a same. Similarly here it can be written as minus half cosine 2 pi x over 3. There will be a no change because the minus is inside the absolute. So the graph going to be the same. But if it is outside, what happened? Let us go. So I have to calculate this one because the minus is outside the absolute value. So A is 3 and B is 3 pi over 4. Now amplitude is given by amplitude, it is absolute A, which is equal 3, and a period which is 2 pi over absolute B. When I substitute the value 2 pi over 3 pi over 4, what is cancelled? Pi with the pi cancelled. When you multiply this one 4 above, so you will find it the value is equal 8 over 3. So this is 8 over 3. You have to multiply this 4 up, so you will have 8 over 3 upon simplification. Now I start the graph by drawing the x-axis and this is my y-axis. Y-x. And what about the technique we will follow? 0. So this is the amplitude which is plus 3 and minus 3. Okay, done. Then we will have the full period which is 8 over 3. So 8 over 3 you have to divide by 2. So what happened? If I divide by 2, you will get 8 over 3 multiply by 2. So you will have 4 over 3. So therefore it is 4 over 3. Now when I divide by 2 again, so you will have 2 over 3 again. When you multiply by 3, so you will get here 2. So this is the technique we will follow for all the problem. Now we will have, this is a sine function. It is start with the 0. Is it going up or down? So since it is a minus is outside the absolute, it is going down. Then it reaches 0. It will not come up. Why? Because of the absolute, all the curves will be down. So minus, here it is plus. So the graph is this one. All the curves will be down. Why? Because of the absolute. Minus is outside the absolute. So here all curves up. Why? There is a absolute value with the plus. So let us go with this one, the cosine function. Take the cosine function. A is 3, B is 3 over 4. So this is the same amplitude and period you will get, only the graph will be changed. The starting point is different. So you will find it the amplitude 3 and period by using the formula you will find it 8 over 3. Now I draw the graph. So what is the graph here? So it is x-axis, this is x-axis and y-axis. This is y-axis. Y, this is x, and what is this amplitude? So amplitude is 3 to minus 3. This is 0. And then here we will have 8 over 3. Now when you divide by 2, therefore you will find it 4 over 3. When you divide by 2 again, 2 over 3. When you multiply by 3, so you will have 3 cancel, you will have only 2. So after simplifying, I write it this value. Since it is a cosine function, it start with the amplitude. Is it plus 3 or minus 3? Because minus is more outside, therefore minus 3. It start with minus 3. Then it goes to 0. So if it is without absolute, it will goes up. But it is due to the absolute with the minus outside, so all the curves will be down. So all the curves will be down. So this is my graph. Yes. So only the starting point of the graph is different. Always the sine start with the 0 and cosine start with the amplitude. Thank you. See you in the next video.